Hey everybody, so the quarterfinals of the European Championships start tomorrow, and looking at the teams in it, now that two-thirds of the teams have gone home, and we now have only eight teams remaining. Taking a look at the round of 16 predictions I made, I got 6 out of 8 correct, with the only two exceptions being Portugal defeating Croatia and Iceland upsetting England. Who saw that coming? Iceland really have now become the darlings, the Cinderella team of this tournament that nobody expected to get this far in the first ever international tournament. A small country of 300,000 people, yet they've had some of the best fans and the best atmosphere in the stadiums in this tournament whenever they've played. So it's really a historical result, knocking out England 2-1. Have to say, I don't think many people saw that coming. But now they are in the quarterfinals against a French team that still has not really convinced many people. They had to come from behind 1-0 down against the Republic of Ireland. And all of their goals this tournament so far, every single one of them have come in the second half. That's not good. And the fans booed off their own team at halftime when they were down to Ireland 1-0. And you can see there's an air of unsatisfactory expectations being met for this French team. And they're still, it's now the quarterfinals, they're still not playing at their best. And they're coming up against an Icelandic team who really look like giant killers and should not be ignored. I think Iceland can push France to the brink, maybe even force extra time and penalties, because they don't fear anybody now that they knocked off giants. So people say, well, France would rather play Iceland instead of England. I'm not sure that's true anymore. Maybe Iceland is a bigger threat than England for France. So that's going to be an interesting match to watch. And personally, even though France is the host nation, I'm going to be cheering for Iceland to pull off the unthinkable and get to the semifinals. Imagine how crazy that would be. So looking at the quarterfinals, we have Poland against Portugal, Belgium against Wales, France against Iceland, of course, and the really big one, Germany versus Italy. So just going through these matches one by one, Poland versus Portugal, I was not impressed with the last 45 minutes of Poland's performance against Switzerland. They let Switzerland have the ball. They were content to put numbers in the back and just hold on for dear life, trying to force penalties. Robert Lewandowski still has not showed up in this tournament, despite the fact that they got to the quarterfinals. Now someone could turn that the opposite way on its head and say, well, Poland got to the quarterfinals even without Robert Lewandowski firing up all cylinders. So what would happen? How good can they go? How good can they be? Excuse me. How far can they go if he does start to, show up? And I think that in order for Poland to advance from this game, this has to be the game where Robert Lewandowski shows up, maybe scores a goal or two. It has to be this game. Because if he doesn't, I think Portugal's going to go through. And Portugal beat a very, very tough Croatian team that a lot of people had reaching the semifinals and possibly the final after beating Spain in their group and topping it. So they have a lot of renewed confidence coming off the frustration of their 3 draws in the group stage. And I think that Portugal looks like a team that is not playing at their best, but they look like they're doing just enough to scrape their way through this tournament It reminds me a lot of Greece 2004. And we all know how that ended. I think that Switzerland, no offense to any Polish subscribers that I have, but you look at the course of the game throughout the 120 minutes leading up to the penalty shootout between Switzerland and Poland, Switzerland were the better team. Not in the first half. Poland were the better team in the first half. They could have put the game away in the first half. But afterwards, Switzerland were completely dominant. And if Poland does this against Portugal, Portugal's going to find a way to score in ways that the Swiss could not. And for all the heat that Ronaldo gets for being, arrogant and inconsistent with his national team, he's a professional goal poacher. He's not the best player in the world, as many people think he might be, but he's one of the greatest goal scorers of all time. He'll find a way. He'll link up with Quaresma or Renato Sanchez, and they'll break that Polish back line. And I actually think that Portugal should go through this game. There's no guarantees. I think it's going to be a tough game for both sides. Could go to extra time. Could go to penalties even. I hope it doesn't go to penalties. Because then Poland would have to rely on another penalty shootout to get through. No, I think Portugal, if they play at their best, they can get this done in 90 minutes. So, in this game, who am I picking to advance? It depends which Poland shows up. If it's the same Poland that played against Germany in their group, Poland can win, especially if Lewandowski finally gets on the score sheet. But if it's the same Poland that played against the Swiss, Portugal will go through. And I really don't see any reason to believe that Lewandowski is going to show up anytime soon, just based on what he's been doing so far. So for now, I'm going to say Portugal will win and go to the semifinals. Wales versus Belgium. Belgium's a clear favorite here, although Wales really, really loves playing against teams that are expected to beat them and pulling off surprises. They've done a great job getting to the quarterfinals, winning their group ahead of England, resigning the English to a second-place finish in Group B. A few concerns, though, in their game against Northern Ireland. I thought Northern Ireland were the better team, and they frustrated Wales going forward. Wales lacked creativity in that game against Northern Ireland, and it took an own goal by McCauley to send Wales through the quarterfinals. I think Wales and Belgium are two teams that are familiar with each other because they played against each other twice in qualifying, and Wales defeated Belgium in qualifying. So I think Belgium is aware of what they're up against here, and Gareth Bale is really on fire in this tournament. And I think he's joint leaderboard with Griezmann and Alvaro Morata as top goal scorer in this tournament with 3 goals so far. So Wales' strategy, what Wales has to do to get past Belgium is they have to be very tight-knit defensively and link up on Ramsey and Bale on the counterattack, hopefully get a set piece, a free kick, where Bale can get them a goal. Belgium is going to be all about trying to break down Wales and playing the same way they did against Hungary instead of the way they played against Sweden and against Italy. Because we've seen Wales play 4 games this tournament so far. They played Belgium, 2 really good games and 2 really bad games. They played a great game against the Republic of Ireland and Hungary, and they had 2 really poor games against Italy and Sweden, which arguably Sweden should have won if that controversial Zlatan goal was not waved was not disallowed. So I said it before, I'll say it again. I don't think Mark Wilmots is a good coach, but he might very well get this team to the final just because Belgium got lucky and landed on the easier side of the bracket, avoiding Germany and Italy and France and England. Um, this is a game Belgium should win, but don't be surprised if Wales forces this into extra time. Because Wales are very difficult to break down. Uh, and I can see Wales scoring this game. In fact, I think Wales will score in this game. Um, but if it goes to extra time and penalties, who do I see coming off the bench? Who has more depth coming in that can grab a winner, that will provide more energy for the team in the dying moments of the game, that stretch on to the 2 hour mark, the 120th minute? It's the Belgium. Um, I can see this really easily being a game where Belgium has to be patient and just take their chances and then gradually just wear down Wales until they get a winning goal. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think Belgium will win, they'll advance, but it's going to be really difficult. I think a lot of people are underestimating Wales, and people are just assuming that Belgium has an easy path to the final. They don't. But I still expect Belgium to get through this and get to the semis, where they will play Portugal. The other two games, we have France versus Iceland, as I mentioned a few minutes ago. You know, I can very easily see Iceland winning this game. But something just tells me France is going to do just enough to get through, and it's going to be yet again in an unconvincing manner. It's not going to be like 3-0 or 4-0. I actually think France wins this game by a 1-goal margin, guys. I think they win it like 1-0 or maybe even 2-1. I see no reason to believe France is going to step up, and I see no reason to believe that France has gotten better as the tournament has progressed. I feel like in each game they're doing just enough to win and get by. And Iceland has a lot of momentum right now, a lot of confidence. The fan base in the country is fired up. So, I think Iceland's going to cause them a lot of problems. But I expect Iceland to ultimately lose this just because the numbers game will catch up to them. And France just have overall much more individual talent. And either Griezmann or Payet or somebody is going to find a breakthrough on goal. And Iceland will not be able to defend for 90 minutes or 120 minutes. Lars Lagerbäck expressed concern of fatigue for this team after the England game, and I think it's going to catch up to them, honestly, especially if France score the first goal. If France score the first goal, I really can't see how Iceland gets back in it. If Iceland scores the first goal, then things become very interesting. So I think that France should approach this game in a very cautious manner and show Iceland some respect because they earned it. And I think this is going to become a matter of a wear and tear kind of strategy that's going to see France ultimately break Iceland down. I think it's going to be very similar to the Wales-Belgium game, although the contrast in talent between the two teams is going to be even more apparent, more noticeable in the France-Iceland game, whereas I think Wales are going to create some really good chances against Belgium. So I think Wales has a better chance to beat Belgium than Iceland has of beating France. So I'm going to pick, it's just hard to see the host nation go out in the quarterfinals against Iceland. No offense to Iceland, but I think they're going to make it rough for France. France is going to make hard work of it. And I think France only wins this game 1-0. I'm going to say 1-0. And it's going to be another unconvincing performance. So France will get to the semifinals. And then we have our final quarterfinal game, which is really the big one, between Italy and Germany. Looking at these two teams and the way they've been playing so far in this tournament, it looks like it's a match between an unstoppable force versus an immovable object. You ever hear that expression before? Germany is the only team right now in this tournament remaining that has not conceded any goals in the 4 games they've played. They've conceded 0 goals. They look really dominant in attack moving forward, but Italy just look very defensively, mind-numbingly difficult to break down. They're like a rock at the back. They only conceded 1 goal in this tournament, but even that 1 goal they conceded was against the Republic of Ireland when they fielded a second-string team, because essentially a B team, and they did so because in their last group game they had already qualified and won their group to the round of 16. So Conte decided to rest up a lot of players, which allowed Ireland to be more of a force and really threaten to take all 3 points in that game, which they did. But had Italy actually played that game like they wanted to get a result out of it, I don't think Ireland would have scored on them, and they would be the other team in this group, rather than a tournament, that has not conceded a goal. So you saw how Italy really just came at Spain, made Spain look like they lost any ideas. David De Gea was the only thing that really kept Spain alive in that game until the 89th, 90th minute when Italy got their second goal. Italy really could have beaten Spain 4 or 5-0 given the way they played. It was an utterly dominant performance in stark contrast to the 2012 final of the European Championship. And Italy under Conte look like they can win this tournament. In fact, guys, I'm going to say this now. I think the winner of this game is going to be the European champion. I think whoever wins between Germany and Italy is going to beat France in the semifinal, and they're going to beat Belgium or Portugal or whoever it is in the final. I think it's a little unfortunate these 2 teams are meeting this early, to be honest. It's really a game between 2 giants of European football and of world football. Together they have the 2 most World Cup championships of any European team, 4 each, and a combined 4 European championships, Germany with 3, Italy with 1. And historically speaking, Italy has the edge on Germany. It's just true. Italy always beats Germany in competitive matchups. Germany beats Italy in friendlies, but when it comes to tournament games like World Cups, European Championships, for some reason, Italy has always had Germany's number. So it's very difficult to predict this game because this is a game that's really worthy of a final. But only one of these teams can go to the semifinals, and I think that's really, really harsh, to be honest. Italy, arguably in this tournament under Conte, have the best manager, the best tactics. They're going to be looking to really limit Germany's chances going forward. And if Northern Ireland can keep Germany to a 1-0 loss, I think Italy can shut out Germany for 120 minutes. But I don't know, guys. It's hard to say because Germany look really, really good in this tournament too. I'll say this though. If it goes to penalties and neither side is able to win this game after 120 minutes, I'm going to give it to Germany because Germany doesn't lose in penalty shootouts. They have the absolute best record in the world on penalty shootouts, and Germany has not lost a shootout in over 40 years. It's just one of the universal rules in football where Germany always wins in penalties for some reason. But that's just assuming that it gets that far. In 90 minutes or in 120, I really don't see Italy beating Germany in 90 minutes. I think it's either going to go to extra time or it's going to go to penalties. And this summer marks 10 years ago, almost exactly, when Italy defeated Germany in extra time 2-0 at the World Cup in Germany Uh, in 2006, I remember I was watching it, and Italy scored two goals in the 117th and in the 119th minute to stun the host nation to win. And if it hadn't gone to penalties, Germany may very well have won. So here's the thing. My prediction for this uh, matchup is it's not going to be finished in 90 minutes. If it goes to extra time, I might give the edge to Italy. But if it goes to penalties, I'm going to give the edge to Germany because I think they have a better goalkeeper in Manuel Neuer. He's much better than Gianluigi Buffon. Buffon was the best goalkeeper in the world several years ago, but he just keeps refusing to retire. Good for him. Let him keep playing for as long as he wants to. But Manuel Neuer should have a really big edge on him in the event that it goes to penalties. But I have a feeling this game is going to be decided in extra time. And my prediction is that Germany is going to win. I think Germany will finally break the curse against the Italians, and I think for the first time they're going to defeat Italy in a major tournament. And it's going to be a watershed breaking of the threshold moment. Both teams are in really great form, guys, so don't be mad at me if you think Italy's going to win. It's really difficult to predict this game. Again, I think the winner of this game is going to be the champion between Germany and Italy. It's unfortunate they're meeting this early in the quarterfinals because I think either one of them will beat France. France has just been unconvincing, and the winner of this will beat Belgium or Portugal. I'm going to go with Germany. I think it could just be Germany. It's Germany's year to finally beat Italy. So my prediction is 2-1 in extra time. It's the same scoreline as 4 years ago when Italy eliminated Germany in the semifinals, 2-1. I think it's going to be the same scoreline, but in favor of Germany in extra time. So those are my predictions, guys. I think the four winners of the quarterfinals advancing to the semifinals are going to be Portugal, Belgium, France, and Germany. So leave a comment below, like, subscribe, give some feedback. Who do you think is going to win the four quarterfinal games? And yeah, I'll see you later today with a couple more videos, maybe one more video, I'm not sure. But, until then, guys, as always, thanks for watching. And yeah, I'll see you later on. Till then, peace out.